rebels on the ground. Remember, a lot of these people are from Al-Qaeda. They are people who have done guerrilla warfare against the U.S. in Iraq and Afghanistan and killed a lot of our soldiers. But what they're not up for is a kind of conventional war, more or less, where they have to go up against another army, and they're out in the open. And you see that they simply run away. Interesting is also the hatred of the United States and NATO and even Turkey among the rebels is extreme. They should control it, right, for their own interest. They should hide what they really think, but they can't hide it. They're holding demonstrations, condemning NATO, condemning the U.S., complaining, whining that the airstrikes are not enough. What it simply shows is that these people are from Al-Qaeda, many of them, and they really hate the United States, and they should cover that up, but they can't. It keeps coming up to the surface.
And by the way, Webster, just to briefly interrupt, you said over a month ago that they would try to carve the country in two, but then the arrogance and the bravado of the Western leaders in the demonization of Gaddafi would probably lead towards ground troops. Last week, the top U.S. general over the operations said, we've got ground troops off the coast. We are probably going to have to invade. And so it looks like they've always been building towards this, but there's been such a political backlash that they're basically hesitating. What do you see happening?
Well, the smaller NATO countries, right, be it the Italians or the Dutch or the other components of the NATO command, would like the rebels to do this for them. But what I think we're seeing is the rebels can't do it. They can't hold on, even in Cyrenaica. The other interesting thing today is this African Union delegation trying to have a ceasefire, which I think is the immediate demand. Stop the shooting on the ground. Stop the airstrikes. And you notice the racist treatment that the African Union is getting. Those guys, for some reason, they don't count. The Arab League is important, and NATO is important, but the African Union means nothing. You had three presidents. You had the president of Congo, Uganda, Mali, Mauritania, and South Africa. I guess that makes five presidents meeting with Gaddafi, and Gaddafi accepted their peace plan. And if you turn the TV on, well, those guys, they don't count. You're lucky if they even tell you their name. The racist overtones of this thing are amazing, because one of the demands of those AU presidents is that there should be protection for foreign workers, for foreigners, including African migrant workers, who are the ones who have been slaughtered. They've been lynched in Benghazi, in Darna, in Tobruk, and the other rebel cities. There have been real atrocities.
But that's humanitarian, Webster, just like the French troops in Ivory Coast helping protect the rebels that are admittedly slaughtering men, women, and children with machetes. That is humanitarian.
Right. And the Ivory Coast, this is a different UN resolution now, but they're the same ilk. The Ivory Coast is UN Security Council 1975. Libya's 1973. This is a new kind of imperialism, and what you saw yesterday was the French and the United Nations actively trying to kill Gbagbo. And the interesting story here is that the president that the French Sarkozy wants to install is this Ouattara. He is, of course, a Muslim from the north, but above all, he's an official of the International Monetary Fund. And if you want to see it in terms of the global alliance of the CIA with the Muslim Brotherhood and indeed with their property Al-Qaeda, it's interesting to note that the guy who's now going to be maybe put on trial, he's lucky if he's alive today, Gbagbo, right, in the south, that's a Christian with a lot of popular support.
Yeah, you don't fight Al-Qaeda. If you're the Serbs, if you're the Russians, you don't fight the sweetie pies. You don't fight the dear sweet Anwar al-Awlaki when he's hanging out at the Pentagon. These are great Americans. We're anti-American because we don't like Al-Qaeda. And it's just that Orwellian. How dumb does the system think we are, Webster, to be launching these new UN Al-Qaeda-backed wars where Al-Qaeda's the good guys?
Well, I think they think we're very dumb. Now, maybe the world on the whole is not so dumb. You mentioned Iceland. You've also had Turkey playing a positive role. Right? Erdogan of Turkey saying, if you give arms to those rebels in Libya, that's going to cause terrorism. Lavrov of Russia, something similar. Whatever missiles those guys in Benghazi get will show up in Chechnya, in southern Russia, in the Kurdish part of Turkey,
West Bank,
in Indonesia, or any airport in the world. So the Libyan rebels coming, paid for by you, armed by you, and coming to an airport near you with one of the missiles you gave them. And this is what it's come down to. Unbelievable, open open cavorting, open fraternization of the U.S. Government with these al-Qaedas. And remember, of that rebel council in Benghazi, half of those guys are anonymous. We don't know who they are.
No, I understand. We only got a minute left. Where is it going? So overall, the operation's not going for the New World Order well, but they don't care. They're invading more countries under the guise of humanitarianism, hacking people up with machetes.
Right, and you can see, though, things have slowed down in Syria. Algeria is going nowhere. The guy in Yemen is holding on. So I think what Gaddafi has done is at least is forced this out in the open. You can see that it's imperialism. It's not happy days of democracy. And slowed it down. I think the great danger now is that the demagogues, the Obamas, the Sarkozys, and the Camerons will prevail and say, we now have to send in our Marines, our special forces, and save the rebels on the ground. And that, of course, will then be a full-scale war. That's Obama's fourth war, which is what he's got right now. So it's important for people to say no to this. And if you simply ended these wars, you'd have about $2 trillion to work with in terms of your budget. So maybe that's an important side ladder in the budget battle.
Yeah, but killing 1 million Iraqis, that's humanitarian. These wars are humanitarian. We got to unplug Grandma. We got to take Social Security away. I've got him here in the New York Times saying cut Social Security. So there you go, folks. There's your Obama for you. And you conservatives love it. Don't touch the bankers. Just throw Grandma out on the street. Tarpley.net's your website. Thank you, Tarpley.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
The largest part of gaining radiant health is detoxification. You can drink ionized water, cleanse your intestines, eat a perfect diet, and even take lots of quality supplements, and in many instances only make minimal progress. What is the key to detoxifying your body of mercury, heavy metals, chemicals, and drugs? It is glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant used to detoxify your entire body. It stops free radicals, keeps cells young, and reduces inflammation. One World Whey protein powder may be able to raise your glutathione production by 64% or more. One World Whey is more effective than any other whey protein powder on the market because it is unheated and from grass-fed cows. All other, quote, cold processed whey protein powders have been heated and damaged by 15% or more. One World Whey comes in 3 delicious flavors. Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
The U.S. economy is at a tipping point. 40 cents of every dollar the government spends is borrowed. The president of the Federal Reserve in Dallas was recently quoted saying, "This path will lead to insolvency, resulting in the collapse of our government and our economy. Our country can't function like this, and neither can your household. That's why you need to prepare, and priority one is your food supply. Fortunately, it's easy and affordable with the help of Ready Reserve Foods. Ready Reserve Foods has been a premier supplier of long-term storable foods for 37 years. Their unique process assures the highest quality, long-term food storage available with a 25-year shelf life. A full year supply of quality food for 2 people costs a fraction of what you pay at the grocery store. For a free, full-color catalog, call 800-453-2202. That's 800-453-2202. Or visit ReadyReserveFoods.com. Ready Reserve Foods, making preparedness simple since 1972.
here's the deal. I'm going to continue taking your calls for a couple segments. Then I want to get back into the big news of the new earthquake hitting the Fukushima area on the northeast coast of Japan. 17 states reporting radiation in the food, water, milk. The feds will not release their own numbers. There is a huge cover-up going on, but they think with human psychology that because we're a month into this today, another earthquake on the month anniversary of the March 11th situation, that out of sight, out of mind, you can't see the radiation, so c'est la vie. It's a big deal. I want to break that down and some other important news. Before we go any further, if you want to support this broadcast, remember we have the online video bookstore with the Patriot T-shirts. All of the information is about spreading the word, meeting like-minded people. You can get the book, Big Brother, The Orwellian Nightmare Come True. Excellent new book by Mark Dice. And when you get it with Jesse Ventura's new book, 63 Documents the Government Doesn't Want You to Read, an amazing page-turner that's perfect to wake people up, you get one of my films, whatever you choose, absolutely free. The Obama Deception, Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA, Endgame, Fall of the Republic, all available at Infowars.com. And get the books, read them yourself, pass them on to others, get the DVDs, make copies of my films. Every person you wake up is one step closer to defeating the globalists. And you heard the listener earlier who was talking to an Iraq, Afghanistan veteran. He saw Terror Storm and totally woke up. That's all it takes, folks. These films are powerful. Again, Infowars.com, or you can download all the films in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Let's talk to Joe in Illinois. You're on the air. Go ahead. John in Illinois. Can't read.
Okay, kudos to Richard Gage. I saw him last night in Evanston, Illinois. His presentation gets more polished every time I see him. But getting to the meat, what I wanted to bring up about this nuclear business, I'm sure that you're already aware of this, but I haven't heard this thrown out into the media of late, and that is the law called the Price-Anderson Act. You aware of that law?
Yeah, fill folks in.
Yeah, okay. The Price-Anderson Act was passed in 1957 to limit the liability of any utility that uses nuclear power generation. And the industry would not exist today except for that law because the insurance actuaries would not insure nuclear power.
Well, that's like vaccines. For over 40 years have had liability protection, so they can kill you, hurt you, and can't get in trouble because of a federal law there as well.
Yes, indeed. And one more point before I go. In Jesse's new book, The 63 Documents, I was paging through it, and I saw that one document that had been gotten by Think Progress about the Koch brothers' organization of trying to promote freedom. And the Koch brothers, as you probably know, have been demonized by the leftist press, like Media Matters, etc., of late. And I was wondering if you could delve into exactly if this is just a case of demonization or if the Koch brothers are really in on the New World Order or just what the hell's going on.
All right, I appreciate your call. Great point, John. I have read the book. I read it a month ago. I wasn't allowed to ship it out, but we had these books a month ago. And that was the one document that I thought was the only part of the book I didn't really like. But there's 63 of them. And it exposes Democrats, it exposes Republicans, and Dick Russell, we'll get Dick Russell on, the author, because he's the guy that wrote most of it with Jesse Ventura. And, as Jesse said last week here on the show, and that's kind of a cause celeb thing to attack as the Koch brothers. I don't think they're perfect, but they are kind of like mainline Republicans / neocons who do promote some free market things. I mean, compared to George Soros, they're angel cakes. But they're definitely part of the left-right paradigm. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This